you should consider hiring a labor lawyer right at the beginning once you start onboarding multiple employees into your business. Most employers aren't trying to treat all their employees differently. They're just trying to get in place like a system and a process on which they're going to do certain things or how they're going to have employees handle, certain situations. So the reason why I say to do it up front is because if you don't get it right up front, you've now made that same exact mistake for 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, however many employees that you're onboarding. And every single one of those that you got it wrong with is a data point for liability. So when I talk about those types of issues, I'm talking about like your wage and hour policies most commonly. I hear it way too often that we just don't pay overtime. That's not the company policy here. Or company policy says that you have to clock out at 5 p.m. when your shift ends, even if you still have to finish work. And way too many employers have that kind of philosophy or policy on the books, but you're getting in trouble with each and every single one of those employees that's affected by that. So if you just assume, for the sake of example, that every single one of those employees is a walking $25,000 to $40,000 liability ticket, I don't have a calculator in front of me, but take that 25 to 40 grand, multiply it by however many employees that you have there, and you've just uncovered like a ticking time bomb of liability for yourself. You're only hiring a labor lawyer to do something once, but that's going to apply for every single different type of employee that you bring along, and that's governed by that policy. There's some other scenarios where you can actually wait a little bit longer to get a labor lawyer in. If you've been in business for any decent number of time, you've probably had an employee complain to HR or their boss or something about some type of harassment, discrimination, whatever the complaint may be. And for the most part, I'm okay with human resources professionals kind of handling the initial first steps of that. They can totally take interviews of people and ask them about what actually happened, because most of the time the boss doesn't actually know what happened. These are all kind of happening behind closed doors or off to the side. And so this is the first time the company's even learning that this happened. So it's totally fine for an HR professional, not an employment lawyer, to conduct those initial investigations, right? But where I want you to get like a labor lawyer involved is kind of at the end of that, when you're making decisions, when you've gotten all the information that you've gathered, and you just need like a second opinion or a second set of eyes on something that you just weren't all that familiar or comfortable with. And this is especially true in situations where we're talking about like sexual harassment. If you've been living anywhere on earth for the last couple of years, you know that sexual harassment claims are on the rise, and we have a legal system that says you are innocent until proven guilty. And so when you've got such high stakes like that, I would want you to have a labor lawyer on your side from the get to guide that investigation, to know what to say, what not to say, right? You've probably heard examples where people sometimes ask, what was she wearing? How much they had drank? Those are questions I don't want you to ask. Those are questions that are going to get you in trouble.